For those that's been following me on YouTube and been subscribed to me on YouTube for over 2 years now, you noticed that I talked about the WTOC reporter that was killed 2 years ago on November the 20th, 2016, right over the South Carolina state line on Highway 17. Now, the man that was charged with killing Don Logana in that D.U.I incident, now he was actually charged at the time, Coleman was actually charged at the time with 3 counts of felony DUI with great bodily injury and 1 count of felony DUI with death. Now that man, Coleman, has been found not guilty on all counts. Now, part of the state's burden of proof was to prove that Coleman was behind the wheel that night of the deadly crash, as he's been accused of causing. Wednesday this week, he took the stand and offered an explanation as to why it wasn't him behind the wheel that night. After the state rested their case in the trial of Coleman, the court extended Coleman to the offer to testify, and he accepted. In his testimony, Coleman told jurors he doesn't remember anything about the wreck, only waking up in the hospital after the fact. And before the crash, Coleman said that his last memory is at being at his mother's house early in the night with other family members. Over the course of the trial, jurors heard the testimony that Coleman's brother let him borrow his pickup truck. Coleman maintained, though, that he wasn't the one driving when the truck crossed the center of the line on Highway 17, hitting head-on the passenger car carrying 4 people, including Don Logana. Now, he said that he believed he was in the truck, though. Now, this is Coleman's words. He said, "There's times where my brother lent me the truck and I would seek a driver who's licensed because I'm too afraid to drive personally because of my bad driving history." Now, that's the words of Mr. Coleman. Now, Coleman admitted to driving on a suspended license in the past, and when asked by the lead prosecutor to explain how many times, Coleman said more than 5 different occasions. He told jurors he didn't know who the other person in the truck would have been. Coleman reportedly arrived at the hospital that night of the crash, injured and dazed. So, I mean, there you have it. The last update for the Don Logana trial, and it really sucks. I know the pain is pretty much all across the WTOC news center, and not only that, but the pain is pretty much everywhere. He was from, I believe, New York, I believe Waterloo, if I'm not mistaken. I did a video on that. I'll put that link in the description box if you haven't seen that video that I initially done 2 years ago about Don Logana. So, I mean, it really does sucks, man. It kind of just feels like he just died in vain, unfortunately, man. It just seemed like it wasn't no positive outcome that came out of this at all. There hasn't been an answer. Well, if Mr. Coleman wasn't allegedly the one that was responsible for Don Logana being killed, then who was? And it just seems like Mr. Coleman, and I'm just putting my opinion about this, it just seemed like Mr. Coleman didn't want to admit responsibility in the crash, but at the same time, it seemed like the state of South Carolina really couldn't prove that he was behind the wheel. But at the same time, it was like, well, who else did you find at the crime scene? So, I mean, I don't know. It's just, it really just seems like he really died in vain. I really hate to say it about the situation, but, definitely rest up, Don Logana. Like I said, I can't believe it's been 2 years ago, man. And, Don Logana was a great and awesome reporter for WTOC. So, I hate to say it, but it looked like this will be the end of the updates for Don Logana case. Now, I have another piece of news that I have to get to y'all. Now, today, on November the 8th, according to the Savannah Police Department, 54-year-old Dwayne Sutton was driving around in his Kia Optima around 3 a.m. on the roadway of Montgomery Crossroads and Atwood Streets when he struck a pedestrian that was lying in the middle of the road. Now, the pedestrian, later identified as Ivory Winfrey, when he was hit, he was transported to the hospital in serious condition where he later died. So, I don't have a picture of the person that was killed in the situation. I do have a image of the person that ran over the guy, but I don't want to release that photo because, you know, the guy hasn't been charged of murder or anything. It seems accidental. 3 a.m. on that street, man. You know, it's not, I mean, it's a well-lit road, but at 3 a.m. you don't have your best vision at night. Plus, it just says, you know, the man, Avery Winfrey, was lying in the roadway. So was he literally like just laying in the road when he got killed, or was he just, you know, standing in the road? But, you know, it says in quotation marks, lying in the roadway. So, you know, I'm kind of puzzled about really how he really died, because, you know, I don't really know the specifics. But any other information about this, I'll let y'all know as well. But that's it. Stay blessed, Seaport.